Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight, we're here at the Bullring for the No Bull 125 presented by Brian Rogers Motorsports. Drivers out right now on track doing their final 3.5 minutes of practice. They have been turning laps for the last hour, but we here at Turn 3 are gonna bring you the lazy version tonight and just go live about 3 minutes left in practice. In the booth with me tonight is the ever vociferous Kelly Dahl. Kelly, how you doing out here tonight?
I don't know what that word is. I don't know if you gave me a compliment or insulted me there. But yeah, it's definitely a long practice session that they get, and one of the things is the track surface does transfer over between practice, qualifying, and heat. So the more laps these guys turn, the more rubber they lay down on this racetrack, and the more they just kind of mold this track to how they're going to be driving it.
Yes, that is very key, laying down some rubber in the preferred groove. And it really does make for the chance to open up different driving lanes as well, because that lane maybe gets a little too much rubber, maybe gets a little too hot. But anyway, that being said, a little bit of our information for tonight, our track facts brought to you by Verge. Chris Stump won the inaugural race last season, last February, and we are returning here again in December. This is going to be 125 laps on this 3/8 mile track. The top 12 will invert for the feature. And Kelly, you do have a little bit more information about changes to the qualifying format tonight.
Yeah, they have completely switched up the qualifying format. Instead of doing purely random draw heat races, there will be a 2-lap solo qualifying. Top 10 in that qualifying will just go straight to the feature. Everyone outside of that top 10 will be placed into 2 separate heats, and the top 4 from each of those heats will move on to the feature. That gives us 18. Then we will go to an LCQ. LCQ will be 6 cars that will transfer, and 2 more that will be added based on their point standings. Give us should be a total of, I believe that should be 26. And we also have the chance of Justin Fuller. If he has a bad night and just can't qualify, gets wrecked out in his heat, gets wrecked out in the LCQ, Justin Fuller is a past champion. He has 1 provisional this season that he can just go straight to the feature if he wants. So if he, for some reason, runs into trouble, instead of the 2 points provisionals, you will get 1 point provisional and Justin Fuller. But considering how he's been running so far this season, I don't think that is going to happen.
Well, you keep talking about points, so let's take a look at our championship standings. Bill Martin currently has the lead at 218 points, a rookie out here. He won the race at Irwindale in dramatic fashion over Justin Fuller. Justin Fuller right now sitting in 2nd place. Cody McCauley making some noise here as a rookie as well with this Upstate Racing League fueled by Verge Pro Series. Finds himself in 3rd, and Chris Stump in 4th place with Steph Marinac, despite a dismal run at Irwindale, still inside the top 5 in our point standings, and a lot of rookies making it into the top 20 in the points. But we are getting ready to go to qualifying here right now, and that being said, let's see if we can't try and bring you some drivers as they hit the track. Right now, the 13 of Guillaume out on track as the green flag flies. A 2-minute qualifying session. The 13 little sideways there, looked like he got down into the rumble stretch.
Oh, Brian Hacker just got into some trouble on his qualifying run there on his outlap. I think he spun it, so hopefully that was on his outlap and he didn't just lose one of his qualifying laps.
Several times starting to trickle in as we look at our drop down here. You can see the times as they log them. But with this new format, it used to be random draws. Now it is everyone getting in based off their own merits in qualifying.
And the reason for this change is that some of the drivers weren't exactly happy with the kind of randomness that the format was bringing to this to these races, and they wanted it to be a bit more predictable, a bit more based on their own driving and not leaving too much up to chance. So they have kept the heat races, but kind of made it so adding this qualifying does allow a bit more of things to be sorted out on the driver's talents.
23 drivers have turned to time so far, and it looks like everyone is going to try and log a qualifying time. We are quickly running out of time here. 2 minutes goes by very quick, and all of them are battling for our time trial award. That is the Arts Barbershop Quick Clip Time Trial Award. Wow, that was a tongue twister. And that looks like it is going to go to Joe Schaefer in the 6 machine. So congratulations, Joe, on picking up your Arts Barbershop Quick Clip Time Trial Award.
And quick rundown of the 10 that will move on: Joe Schaefer, Mike Alexander, Brian Hacker, Matthew Barkos, Cody McCauley, Justin Fuller, Guillaume Fortin, Steph Marinac, AJ Hamill, and AJ Rogers. Those are your top 10 that will move on from qualifying straight to the feature.
All right, so 10 drivers already locked into the show. Now 2 heat races going to separate us out from the rest of... I kind of lost where I was going with that. 2 heat races now to decide the rest of the field. Heat race number 1 being brought to you by the Western Super Series. They provide awesome racing on Tuesday night. If you're looking for a league that runs on Tuesday night, make sure you check out Western Super Series. All right, so as the drivers start to roll out our grid for this start, row number 1 brought to us by Beth's Colorful Creations, Scott Austin and Justin McDuff.
Row 2, we're going to see Al Smith Jr. and John Ouellette.
Row 3 will be Bill Martin and Chris Stump.
Row 4 will be Jeremy Carpenter and Ty Cole.
Row 5, Ron Piles and AJ Childs. That is going to make up our 10-car heat race number 1. Lights out on the pace car. Things moving very quickly here. This curveball that the league has thrown to you and me, Kelly, I think we're handling it quite well.
Yeah, well, Al's definitely communicated it with us, let us know everything that was happening, which as a commentator, it is great to have an admin that kind of keeps you in the loop. But pace car now down and away, and Scott Austin's going to lead us towards this first heat race.
As we wait for the green flag to drop on heat race number 1, 15 laps, the order here tonight. Green flag is out, down into turn 1, and the 20 of Justin McDuff with a power move on the outside takes the race lead, but Scott Austin in the 5 machine not letting him get away just yet. Meanwhile, the battle for third, very intense, but for the moment, it's going to the 96 of Al Smith.
And Al's got 2 cars all over him. He's got that 39 of Bill Martin, and it looks like John Ouellette was on the high side, but he's dropping back a little bit. So Al Smith trying to hold on to third spot, but at the same time, Bill Martin's the one hanging on to the cutoff spot. Oh, car goes around, looks like the 8 of Ouellette.
The 8 of John Ouellette going around here. Gathers it back in, but let's go and check out our turn 3 instant replay and figure out where things went wrong for the 8 machine. On the high side, Chris Stump tries to cut down in front of Jeremy Carpenter in the 1. A little bit of contact there, but everyone sorts it out and keeps rolling. That was just enough to bring out tonight's first caution in heat race number 1.
McDuff's going to be happy to have that caution come out because it will kill off a few of these laps and kind of allow him to have a better chance of transferring on. I'm sure Bill Martin and Al Smith aren't going to be too enthused with the caution because now that means they're going to be bunched up with the rest of the cars, and they're kind of having at least a little bit of momentum. It seemed like they may have had a chance to break away, but that momentum was cut short by that caution flag coming out.
All of our rookies are sponsored by the Brian Rogers Motorsports Rookie of the Year. Bill Martin, Scott Austin, John Ouellette, Ron Piles, and Ty Cole, all rookies here in this heat race number 1. A lot of rookies in this first heat race, and a lot of these guys don't drive necessarily like they are rookies to these cars.
You know, a lot of these guys do have experience in these cars and just made the switch to this league when the league switched from the limited late model to the super late model. And it has brought basically, it kind of breathed a second life into this league. I mean, they've always had a great turnout, but the amount of rookies that have shown up for it just this season is absolutely insane.
Yeah, a very heavy stack in the rookie field, not only in talent, but also in depth. And we see that with Bill Martin leading the points standings with this Upstate Racing League fueled by Verge Pro Series. All right, lights out on the pace car. We get ready to go green flag racing once again. We're gonna have 8 laps left in heat race number 1. Justin McDuff, Scott Austin switching positions this time, and McDuff on the throttle, and he gets a good jump over Austin. Al Smith anticipated that one.
The 5 Scott Austin was able to shut the door on him, but now looks like the 39 just trying his best to hang on the outside, but it's not going to work. That 98 of Chris Stump is going to get the nose ahead, and is going to take away that final transfer spot. And now that 39 is just focusing on trying to fall into the line, and he will get a gap to fall in line now.
Bill Martin in the 39 machine right now finds himself in 5th place. Ron Piles right behind him in the 16 machine. And John Ouellette, who went for a little bit of a ride, sitting in 7th. Jeremy Carpenter, who took the blame for that incident, finds himself in 10th place here in heat race number 1. He is taking that car for a good little ride here as he is staying right with everyone, maybe
Scott
hoping
Austin,
for an
though.
opening.
Scott Austin got put to the high side by the 98. Now he's fighting with Bill Martin for the final transfer spot. And Martin's on that preferred inside line, and he is going to get around Austin.
So Bill Martin moves into 5th place. Or I'm sorry, 4th place. Scott Austin falls to 5th. And these drivers have 3 laps to go. This Bullring, a 3/8 mile, very short, very quick. Now make it 2 laps to go.
Couple laps to go, and Austin has got to make the attack on Martin, or else he's going to be coming up through the LCQ. Starting to lose a little bit of ground, though. Martin's getting some great momentum. Last lap, white flag in the air on this heat race. Justin McDuff having a commanding lead over this heat. And it looks like Bill Martin is going to hold on to the final transfer spot.
Heat race number 1 finished out here. That heat race was brought to you by the Western Super Series. Now it's time to head out for heat race number 2. Let's go through our starting lineup for tonight's event. Row number 1, Jimmy McIntyre in the 81 machine, and on his outside will be the 33 of Hugo Paquette.
Brian Rogers Jr. going to be on the inside of row number 2 with the 72 of Andy Lambert on his outside.
Row 3 will be the 70 of Dylan Canova and the 71 of Jeremy Watkins.
Brett Bartels is going to be starting on the inside of row number 4, and Wayne McDuff going to be on his right side. And tailing the end of this field, it's going to be the 19 of Brian Jones.
All right, Jimmy McIntyre in the Zumongo black and green machine. Gonna start on pole for heat race number 2. 4 drivers transferring out of this heat race and into the feature. Everyone else headed for the LCQ. Good chance that everyone will make the race here tonight, but the LCQ has still got to happen to set the field for the feature. Here we go. Pace car down and away. Take us away, Kelly.
Yeah, definitely a long crawl they have to do all the way through turns 3 and 4 here. Green flag gonna come out just at the exit, turn number 4. Look at the great jump on that outside by the 33 of Hugo Paquette. Don't know if he's gonna be able to quite get clear like we saw in the last heat, but looks like Jimmy McIntyre gonna defend that inside line and hold on to lead. Oh, behind the trouble, 72 of Andy Lambert goes around.
Andy Lambert going around the 413 of Wayne McDuff, slow as well. the 19 of Brian Jones. Any little piece of it. Let's check our turn 3 instant replay and watch that one more time. Andy Lambert in the 72 started on the second row outside, finds himself now having to dig out of a little bit of a hole as he tried to come down, it seems, onto the inside, but the 70 of Dylan Canova was right there. Take another look at this one. And it looked like Canova had a great run going into the corner, and Lambert just did not know he was going to be there.
Yeah, and he just kind of ended up spinning himself around, got caught up with another car, so a little bit of damage to that 72 machine. Hopefully his car is not going to be too badly affected by it. He's going to be all the way in the back of the field, though, so it's going to be quite hard for him. Now taking a look at his car, yeah, he's got a fair amount of front-end damage on that 72 machine.
Tonight's aerial coverage all night long provided by Austin Designs. Some great views going to be provided by the blimp up here. And man, oh man, I can't wait for this feature. If these heat races are going to be any indication, racing is going to be tight, close, and very intense.
Oh, we've already seen some very intense racing just in the heat, so once we get to the feature, I'm sure we're going to have some crazy racing, but it seems like tonight, at least for this these heats, the inside line is extremely dominant, but we're seeing a lot of rubber laid down, but the track may kind of shift up towards the higher line, but at the same time, it's nighttime. It's not like these day races where we're overheating the track.
All right, the pace car down and away. This time, McIntyre. No one on his outside for this restart. Single file restart. And Jimmy trying to send this thing home. 4 drivers looking to punch their ticket into the feature. And the 81 gets a great start on this restart. He has a good jump over Hugo. Brian Rogers sitting in 3rd. And Dylan Canova in the 70. Did not get an EOL for that contact. Finds himself in 4th place.
He's opening up a bit of a gap over Bartels, and I think that's going to be what he's focusing on, is that 42 machine behind him. Dylan Canova holding on to the last transfer spot, running pretty well right now. He's opened up that gap over Bartels at least about 0.6 of a second, so he's definitely looking like he has a strong chance of making it into the feature.
Bartels riding in 5th. Able to keep pace with the 70, but not able to close in on him. Everyone's staying very single file right here as we got Andy Lambert in the 72 making a move on the inside of the 19 of Brian Jones. Jones, a Brian Rogers Motorsports Rookie of the Year contender. That 19 machine now rides around in 9th place.
Andy Lambert making a good move to try to recover from that accident he had earlier. Trying to, at the very least, get a better starting position for that LCQ. I think oh no, he's going to get loose off the corner. And he's going to go all the way into pit road, so forget that. He's going to have to start at the back of the LCQ.
Now Andy Lambert, big mistake, but made the smart decision to head down pit road and try and get back out there without causing a caution. Maybe smacking the wall as he tried to save it too late. He went for the safe decision. He is going to hit his pit stall, and that will be Andy Lambert's heat race. But this 81 machine of Jimmy McIntyre has 3 more laps to go, now make it 2.
And looking just behind them, though, Dylan Canova, he's getting some pressure from the 42 of Bartels. Bartels taking a look to the inside off of turn 2 there, so we may have a battle for this final transfer spot. White flag going to be in the air this time around. We're going to see now who's going to move on to the feature.
Final lap fueled by Verge. Jimmy McIntyre has some pressure for the win as Hugo took a peek to the inside, but McIntyre holds him off, and he is going to win heat race number 2. Hugo comes home 2nd, 3rd Brian Rogers, and Dylan Canova holding on to the final transfer spot.
So now that'll set our field for this LCQ. There are 11 cars here. I believe it is, I'll have to double check here, it is 6 moving on from the LCQ, and then another 2 moving on from points. So we'll have to see what the decision from the admins will be. They don't like sending home just a couple of cars, so these guys might all come through to the feature. However, this will set starting positions.
It will set starting positions, and we are waiting for word from race control. But while we wait, we can go ahead and go through our best colorful creations starting lineup. Row number 1, Scott Austin in the 5 machine and Brett Bartels in the 42.
And an announcement did come out. Everyone will be making the show, so all of these drivers will advance to the feature. Going back to our starting lineup, starting in row number 2, we're going to have Ron Piles and Jeremy Watkins.
Row 3 will be the 8 of John Ouellette and the 413 of Wayne McDuff.
In row number 4, we're going to see Ty Cole in that 68 machine, and alongside him, the 19 of Brian Jones.
Row 5 will be the 41 of AJ Childs and the 72 of Andy Lambert. And bringing up the final spot here tonight, that is the 1 of Jeremy Carpenter. Good news for Jeremy, though. He just has to keep running. He doesn't even have to pass anybody, and he'll make the show.
Yep, these guys can just use this as a little bit of extra practice, but at the same time, this does set the starting positions for the basically back half of this field. So these guys, you'll see a few of them still jockeying for position, trying to get themselves a better starting spot for this feature, and you'll see some of them just kind of cruising around, practicing this track and kind of feeling out the car a bit more. But now, pace car down and away, and we're gonna get ready to start this LCQ.
Got Austin gonna take us for a ride on this start. We look out the nose, crosses the first timing mark, and away we go. Green flag is out here in the last chance qualifier. 20 laps to settle the final starting positions in tonight's race.
And Bartel's going to be able to move down to that inside line, just barely in front of Ron Piles. He's going to hold on to second place for the time being. Feel a lot of battling just behind them. Ouellette now just getting ahead of Watkins, and Ty Cole side by side with Wayne McDuff.
Wayne McDuff on the outside lane trying to make something happen. Not giving up the fight just yet with that 68 machine of Ty Cole, but it looks like now he is going to lose that one. And here comes Andy Lambert, peeking his nose down to the inside. He's going to make contact with Wayne McDuff, and they are going to go around, and more trouble for tonight's Wayne.
Somehow caution's not out.
No caution flag flying. Wayne McDuff finding trouble here, grabs a gear, and now the yellow flag is out. But Wayne McDuff has lost a lap while trying to get sorted.
Yeah, I don't know why it took iRacing so long to throw that yellow flag, because I mean, we saw the first heat, as soon as the car went sideways, they threw the flag, and then that time Wayne McDuff was able to get turned sideways, pushed around turn 4, and then spun around completely, dead stop on the racetrack with 2 other cars. And we don't get a yellow until McDuff finally gets that car fired once again.
Jeremy Carpenter had a great view of this little incident as we look from the onboard camera of Carpenter. He was able to get on the binders just quick enough to keep from making contact with the 72 of Lambert. But already seeing some fireworks in this LCQ.
I'll have to see who's going to end up taking the blame for that one. And it's a bit up in the air. It's not my call to make, but it seemed like McDuff was trying to get to the bottom side, but as soon as he started to make a move down there, that 72 threw his nose up the inside to try to take away that spot. So just some tight racing, everyone trying to go for that bottom line. That's kind of the preferred line on these short runs. And sounds like Wayne McDuff is going to take the blame for that. So not only is he going to be a lap down, he's going to be a lap down and at the tail end of the field.
So the field working their way behind the pace car. Wayne McDuff finding himself 1 lap down at the tail end. Scott Austin in the 5 machine. able to lead this thing. 42 of Brett Bartels trying to take it away from him. Then there is the 16 of Ron Piles right there in third place.
Lights are going to, oh, I think they might have stayed on the, oh no, lights have gone out of the pace car, so we are going to get back going green next time around. Everyone's starting to stack back up in double file. Scott Austin still leading this race, going to have Bartels to his outside, and basically a rematch of the start of this race.
Pace car down and away. Here we go once again. Gonna have 11 laps to go in this LCQ, and Austin gets a good jump on Bartels. Piles in the 16 now pulls door to door with the 42, and Bartels looks like maybe he is gonna lose a spot here as Ron Piles charges deep into the corner and grabs the apex and gets rolling while the 42 tries to put the power down, spins his tires, and now loses another spot to the 8 of John Ouellette.
Yeah, fantastic jump from that 16, sorry, and the 42 just, oh, contact. 68 is around. Oh, and 72 as well.
And Andy Lambert finding trouble here, and we have one facing the wrong way, which was Lambert, and Bryant Jones in the 19 also getting a piece of this one. Let's go to our turn 3 instant replay, see what happened here. The 19 of Brian Jones, the 72 of Andy Lambert. This Bullring living up to its name as the 19 and the 68 make contact. Then the 19 tags the 72, and Andy Lambert finding more trouble than I think he would like to have out here in the race before we even get to the feature.
I think trouble's kind of finding Lambert is the incident before this one. He did not get blamed. He did not have the blame on that one, and that incident he had nothing to do with. He was just trying to avoid it and just got that car spun down into him. So Lambert has, I think, been involved in 3 accidents here tonight. So, and we haven't even made it to the feature. So it's definitely a tough night for that 72 machine.
Mentally, that is going to be tough on Andy Lambert, knowing you haven't even made it to the feature and you've found trouble in every event so far.
Not only found trouble in every event, found trouble twice in this LCQ already. So I'm sure he's gonna hope to kind of refocus and shake it off before the feature, but definitely going to be difficult. However, Wayne McDuff, he is going to get a lap back from that, I believe. So now we've got all 11 cars back on the lead lap. However, we've only got just, I think when we get back green, we'll have maybe 4 or 3 laps to go.
Yeah, not too many laps will be left in this LCQ. The Bullring at Las Vegas, showing pretty much how difficult it's going to be to try and navigate through the cars. If you are faster than a car in front of you, patience is going to be the key. As the lights go out on the pace car, field starts to stack up. We get ready to go green, the flag racing. Kelly, take it away.
And Scott Austin leading this field once again, this time with Ron Piles on that 16 to his outside, and I'm sure Piles going to want to have as good of a jump as he did last restart, but it's difficult to do when you're leading that outside line, as you're having to watch through that side window of what that leader's going to do. And there he's going to get the jump. See if Piles can hold off a charging Ouellette, and he will. He'll be able to slide down to that inside. We'll take a look at the high side, that 42 of Brett Bartels. Oh, now Ouellette actually getting a great exit off of turn 2, and he's actually going to get his nose to the inside of the 16.
16 holding off on that high side for the moment, but the 8 of Ouellette looks like he is going to win out as he has the preferred line. Here comes the 42 of Bartels trying to fill the hole that the 8 left, and now Piles in danger of losing another spot as we have 2 laps to go. Scott Austin trying to win this LCQ.
And it's not over for the 16 as he's still stuck on the high side of the 71 now. Jeremy Watkins makes the move white flag in the air on the LCQ. Scott Austin with a commanding 0.8 of a second lead now coming into turns 3 and 4. And it's going to be all Scott Austin as he wins the LCQ.
Scott Austin wins it. John Ouellette finishing in second place. Third going to Brett Bartels. Fourth, Jeremy Watkins. And rounding out your top 5 will be the 72 of Andy Lambert. So good recovery for Lambert. So as the drivers get ready for the final warm-up session before the main event, Kelly, I think it's a good time to play the national anthems. No one go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
I remember what it was like to have nothing, to wonder when my next meal would be. A lot has changed since then, but no matter what my accomplishments, I always remember where I came from. Jinky and I have always felt like it was our duty and have done our best to give back. But we want to do even more. We want to build more homes, build hospitals, provide scholarship, and expand our efforts into other countries. We don't want to just give people money. We want to give them a better life. That is why we're recruiting you to come alongside and change lives, one investment at a time. There is strength in numbers, and we can do so much more with your help. Think about the difference we can make if everyone does something. Join us as we strive to fight for those less fortunate and spread hope around the world. Thank you.
Welcome back, race fans, as the drivers have enjoyed a little bit of a warm-up session. Hugo Paquette and the 33 machine, fastest car so far in this warm-up session, had a good run in his heat race. Maybe he'll be able to transfer that over as well. The 33 looking very fast. So does the 98 of Chris Stump. Drivers are getting ready for tonight's race, which is the No Bull 125 presented by Brian Rogers Motorsports. I'll tell you what, Kelly, I am really excited for this race here tonight, because if these heat races are anything to show for it, drivers are going to have to be rooting and tooting and gouging for space on the track.
Yeah, one of the things we saw during the heats in the LCQ were the fact that how dominant the inside line is, and really what was the cause of all the accidents we had was everyone just kind of fighting to get as far down the track as possible, and people just trying to shove their nose in to get that track space. But we'll have to see if maybe the high line will open up during this race, or if people will still be fighting for that bottom side.
Time now to head to our best colorful creations starting lineup. Row number 1 will be the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre and the 20 of Justin McDuff.
Row number 2, we're going to see AJ Rogers and AJ Hamill.
Row 3 will be the 2 machine of Steph Marinac and the 13 of Guillaume Fortin.
Row 4, we see the 51 of Justin Fuller and Cody McCauley on his outside.
Row 5 will be the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse and the 11 of Brian Hacker.
Row 6 sees the 75 of Mike Alexander and Joe Schaefer to his outside.
Row 7 will be the 96 of Al Smith Jr. and the 33 of Hugo Paquette.
Row 8, we've got the 98 of Chris Stump and the 12 of Brian Rogers.
Row 9, last race winner, that was the 39 of Bill Martin and the 70 of Dylan Canova on his outside.
Row 10 sees the 5 of Scott Austin, the 8 of John Ouellette.
Row 11, the 42 of Brett Bartels and the 71 of Jeremy Watkins.
Row 12, we've got the 72 of Andy Lambert and the 1 of Jeremy Carpenter.
Row 13, Ty Cole and the 41 of AJ Childs.
Row 14, we're going to have the 19 of Brian Jones with the 413 of Wayne McDuff rounding out our 29 car field, we got the 16 of Ron Piles.
That makes up our best Colorful Creations starting lineup. You can find Best Colorful Creations on Facebook as the 81 Zumongo machine gets on the throttle. Green flag is out, and McIntyre looked like he got caught sleeping, and Justin McDuff is going to take full advantage of it, and he has the run on the outside trying to take the lead, but McIntyre battles back and has the race lead.
Yeah, a little bit of door bang through 3 and 4, but that's going to come away clean, and both these cars are going to keep pointing in the right direction. Still going to battle for that race lead, though, as McDuff not letting him get any sort of ground. However, looking just a little bit further back, we got that 13 Guillaume 410 stuck on that high side, getting freight trained to the back. He started in, oh, caution is out, and I think a car is spun further back in the field.
The 19 of Brian Jones looks like he is taking a trip through the infield. Let's see what happened here as we go to our turn 3 instant replay. Brian Jones in the 19 machine gets contact with the 413 of Wayne McDuff. These two drivers continue to make contact down the backstretch. And Jones finally grabs a gear and gets sorted. But we will be under yellow for our first time tonight for the Noble 125. Slowed down a little bit of early contact, and Wayne McDuff, maybe, I didn't really get a good look at that one, but it looked like maybe just a bit of driver miscommunication about who was going to go where.
Yeah, McDuff seemed to be way low on that racetrack. I think it almost seemed like he was trying to get that inside line, but just kind of went in a little bit too far down on that entry, and it kind of made him wash up the racetrack through the middle of the corner and into that other car of Brian Jones. I don't think it was really much Jones could do, and yet Wayne McDuff is going to claim that one. He will move to the back of the field. However, Brian Jones has decided to call it a night, and really has not been his night here.
A rough night for sure for Brian Jones. We saw him go around earlier tonight, and now in the opening stages of this 125 lap race round once again. But yeah, he has gone behind the wall. But Jimmy McIntyre in the Zumongo machine able to hold off an excellent start from McDuff. He still holds on to that race lead.
Yeah, the thing is, there is no leader advantage on the first start. They have to wait until the green flag flies, so that basically just comes down to whoever gets the better reaction. So that time it was McDuff with a great jump. However, he wasn't able to cover off the inside. So we'll have to see what's going to happen this time around, because we're going to see McIntyre with control of the field. He'll be able to fire any, basically whenever he wants to get to their restart zone. So we'll see if usually we see these guys get that great jump for the leader, and that just kind of allows them to maintain that lead.
So the 81 has the option to go at his choosing. We'll see when he elects to go. McDuff has to respond to it. And green flag is out, and this time everyone side by side. McDuff once again with the lead heading into turn 1. This time he powers down and takes over the top spot. Justin McDuff in the 20 to the race lead.
Yeah, McIntyre waited for the green flag, and that came out to bite him, as McDuff getting another fantastic start. But looking back at the field, that 17 of AJ Rogers trying to hold on to the outside, trying to find a way to the bottom whenever he can, as Steph Marinac makes his way through, and he's going to just slip down in front of the 51 of Justin Fuller.
So Rogers in the 17 machine finding himself right now in 5th place. He is under heavy pressure for the moment from Fuller. Justin Fuller in the 51 going to make the pass heading down into turn 1.
And that was a great move by Fuller, just kind of a good power out of the corner, diving to that inside line before the 17 can even try to make a move to defend him. But Taking a look back at the front of the field, McDuff holding off McIntyre, and at the same time McIntyre has got basically a mirror full of the 18. Kind of got a 4-car breakaway starting to form here as Steph Marinak also sticking close to that 18 of AJ Hamel.
Checking in on some cars a little bit deeper in the field, the 42 of Brett Bartels. Right now he has got a windshield full of cars side by side in front of him. That 42 machine now taking a move to the inside of the 12 of Brian Rogers. Bartels started tonight's race in 21st spot. Now he makes the pass on the 12 of Brian Rogers and moves in to 18th place.
And looking up just ahead of them, up in 12th and 13th, in a battle for 12th. Oh, we actually got a car up on the race, way up the racetrack, sliding out. I don't know who that
Cody
was.
McCauley in the 62.
What was happening with McCauley there is he kind of was way loose and just barely able to save that race car.
McCauley gathers it back in, but he has fallen all the way to 16th spot. He has got his work cut out for him if he wants to make up that lost ground. Brake rotors glowing here already on lap 18 of 125. McCauley sliding in behind Bartels, and now he has the chance to start getting the runs up off the corner and try and pass these guys on the inside. That outside lane just not working yet.
Yeah, I took a look back at what happened to that 62 car as he came off of turn 4. He kind of got into the rear end of the car that he was battling with, and it got him loose, and he just kind of wiggled that car all the way down the front straightaway and ended up kind of sliding through the corner to regather himself and loses a ton of ground. He winds up now back in 17th, so a big hill to climb for that 62 machine now.
We ride on board with the 75 of Mike Alexander, of Brian Rogers, Rookie of the Year contender, but the caution flag is going to fly, and we have more trouble here. And it looks like AJ Childs in the 41 finding trouble and heading straight to his pit stall. Let's see what happened to the 41 as we go to our turn 3 instant replay from high atop our blimp, provided by Austin Designs. The 413 of Wayne McDuff, big wiggle coming off at turn 2, and both cars pile into the tire barrier, and Wayne McDuff gets stuck on the tire barrier, able to get it off, but AJ Childs not so much. Childs elected to take the flatbed back to his pit stall. Wayne McDuff got it rolling, but our second caution flag of the night, and now Wayne McDuff heads for pit road.
And AJ Childs has not only towed away from that, but has called it a night and pulled behind the wall. So another car out of this race, and wouldn't be surprised if McDuff calls it a night as well after being involved in these first 2 wrecks and now coming down pit road.
So a rough night for Wayne McDuff, AJ Childs, and Brian Jones. Those 3 cars on pit road or in behind the wall. Caution flag flying. With that said, guys, we're going to take a quick little break. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Bullring, where the pace car's already pulled down and away, and here comes the 20 of Justin McDuff, getting a fantastic launch off of turn 4. Just behind him, AJ Hamill, Jimmy McIntyre battle for position into turn 1. It looks like Hamill's going to come away with second place thanks to that inside line. There's still a battle for those positions. Marinak, McIntyre, and Fuller all kind of jockey for position.
Ryan Hacker in the 11 machine on the inside of Marinak, who is in the outside lane. McIntyre started on pole here tonight. He is losing a little bit of ground as he is starting to be freight trained on that outside. Here comes Hacker in the 11 down to his inside. Steph Marinak right on the back bumper as well. So the troubles continue for Jimmy. He has got to find an opening to get that car down to the inside.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of these guys would love to just do single file starts, but look at the move by Marinak to get to the inside of Hacker into turn 3 there, and that's going to allow him to have that preferred line. But Hacker not going to let him have it without a fight. He's still trying to battle back on that outside line, and we may see that outside line come in later tonight, but not at the moment, as he's going to now lift and drop into line.
Laps log off quickly here as Justin McDuff turning a 14.742 last time around. This time he is going to turn a 14.785. So very quick, just under 15 seconds for each lap out here tonight. If we stay green, this race is going to go very fast. These drivers know that, and they are all trying to make moves when they see an opening.
Yeah, we're already on lap 35 out of 125. As you said, if we stay green, those laps will tick away before you know it. But now Justin McDuff, I'm sure he's going to want these things to stay green, because he's got a decent sized lead over AJ Hamill, 0.6 of a second. But Hamill is currently busy fighting with Justin Fuller and trying to make sure he doesn't leave an opening for that 51 machine, because it's kind of the name of the game here tonight. If you see an opening, you have got to take it, because it's just so hard to make a move for position, as that inside line is the only line at the time being.
Our highest running rookie for the moment, that is the 17 machine of AJ Rogers. Right now he finds himself in 6th place, right in front of the 13 of Guillaume. And then Joe Schaefer in the 6th machine starting to move towards the front. Schaefer finding himself in 8th place after he started in 12th.
Yeah, Schaefer was our fastest driver in the time trials, but now we're seeing Justin McDuff with the experience that he had running in the first heat. He's absolutely taken off. Now he's opened up that gap to a full second. And taking a look at AJ Hamill, he's got his hands full as Fuller's just trying to get around him to try to start chasing down McDuff. And at the same time, you also have Marinak and Hacker just building up this kind of 4-car pack here. Look at that 51. Each time in the corner, it just gets closer and closer to almost hitting that 18 machine. And Steph Marinak almost looked like he wanted to make a move to be inside of that 51 coming off of turn 2.
Hacker in the 11 finding himself in 5th place, watching these 3 cars in front of him, thinking maybe there might be an opening, but hasn't seen it just yet, as the 51 of Fuller really spun the tires trying to get the power down. That's going to make these tires angry. He has got to be careful for a few laps here, let it settle down, and then get back after it. And you can see that gap it is opening up between him and Hamill.
And he'd spun the tires the lap before coming off of turn 2. And just that last time, though, for turns 3 and 4, there's a bit of a stack up, and Marinak got a bit of a bumper check. Oh, caution has come out once again.
Caution
like
out
Carpenter
for the one of Jeremy Carpenter. Heavy damage on the nose of that machine. We go to our turn 3 instant replay. Let's see what happened to the one. He works his way onto the back stretch. Contact with the 15 machine of Matthew Barkhouse is going to send the one around. And it looked like the one of Carpenter left a lane open for Barkhouse, but it just did not go as planned for that pass. Arkhouse just not able to hold the bottom. Maybe Carpenter came down. Hard to tell from the blimp here exactly what happened.
Yeah, Carpenter is going to claim it. He's going to say that he's going to take responsibility and say that he came down and bumped into Barkhouse, so he will be given the EOL and moved to the back of the field. So that is one thing with this league. I'm sure many other leagues have this rule as well. It is a claim rule. If you cause a caution, if you claim it during the race, you'll be getting moved to the back of the field. However, if you do not claim the caution and they find out after the race that you are the one that caused it, you will get an even bigger penalty. So you really do want to take responsibility for it.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to be on the safe side and say, hey, that was on me, because the penalty after the race is way harsher than starting at the end of the longest line very early in this race.
And the Upstate Racing League Pro Late Model Series is brought to you by Verge Currency. Verge Currency is a cryptocurrency designed for people and for everyday use. It improves upon the original Bitcoin blockchain and aims to fulfill its initial purpose of providing individuals and businesses with a fast, efficient, and decentralized way of making direct transactions while maintaining your privacy. So we would like to thank Verge Currency for making all of this possible. These guys have been fantastic sponsors throughout this season so far, and hopefully they stick around for the years to come.
Lights go out on the pace car. Field starting to stack up. The Bullring living up to its name. Everyone having to fight for some space on the track, trying to root around, gouge around, find some room to make a pass. But McDuff in control of this field, and he is going to get on the throttle early. The 18 of Hamill, not quite the jump, but he's going to drop down into second place there and hold on to that spot. Steph Marinac in the 2. He's stuck on the outside, but Fuller in the 51, again spinning his tires coming up off the corner. That is going to allow Marinac a little bit of space to drop down into third. Fourth going to Fuller, and Brian Hacker in 5th place.
Yeah, Fuller was showing some speed, but now he is struggling with that race car, just holding on to that thing as best as possible. However, still holding on to a 4th place position right now, and with any luck, he'll be able to get those tires settled. Looking just behind them, though, we've got a ton of cars still side by side. Guillaume 410 alongside Joe Schaefer. Just behind them, we've still got the 75, the 17, the 33, and the 39, but they are going to start to kind of sort themselves out. However, Guillaume still holding on to that outside line. Now we've got a car around back in the field. Looks like that might have been Bill Martin, and even in front of them, we've got multiple cars spun.
That was the 98 of Chris Stump, the first one to go around. And then Jeremy Watkins in the 71 goes around and almost heads for pit lane. And we're going to have to back this up and see what happened. The 68 getting involved with this one as well with Jeremy Watkins. Take another stab at this view. See what happens here. The 68, the 71 battling for position. It looked like the 71 tried to come down in front of the 68 there. They went around, but let's figure out what happened to Chris Stump. We had 2 individual incidences, Stump and McIntyre battling side by side, and then Cody McCauley trying to stick his nose in as well. Everyone working their way onto the front stretch. Bill Martin just in front of Stump. And McCauley put the power down and got into the back bumper of Chris Stump. So 2 separate incidences at the same time.
Yeah, and that's going to be a bit confusing to say which one brought out the caution, which one is going to have to be claimed. So definitely a confusing situation. Nobody's claimed the caution as of yet, because I don't think either one knows which incident was the actual one that brought the caution out. So this might be something that'll have to be discussed after the race. It'll be a bit of an interesting situation for the kind of the drivers' council.
Glad I'm not on the drivers' council. I don't know how I would blame that one. I think Chris Stump was down below the racing surface, so the caution would not have been brought out by iRacing or Chris Stump, but it would have been brought out for the 71 of Jeremy Watkins and the 68 of Ty Cole. So how would you rule that? First come, first serve, maybe? I don't know.
Man, I mean, the first spin, they were below the line, so it was almost an entire lap had passed, and it was kind of the same corner that incident happened. So I think it was that second incident, it was the one that brought out the caution, because we have been running for almost a full lap before the caution would come out after the first one.
Pace car down and away. We get ready to go. Green flag racing once again. McDuff in control of the field. As he goes into the restart zone, he gets on the throttle and away we go once again. Hamill getting a good restart, and Steph Marinak diving down to the inside of Fuller this time, but Fuller with the charge down the backstretch holding him off, but Marinak has the preferred line for the moment. They touch briefly and continue on, and Fuller not giving up on that outside lane. He is hanging tough there because he knows he doesn't have much of a choice. The freight train is coming.
And Fuller's still struggling with his car. I saw that thing twitch a couple times on these opening laps. So definitely some problems in that 51 machine. He's going to wiggle just a little bit again off that corner. I don't know if he's just getting too hard into the throttle or what, but there's not enough grip underneath that 51 machine for Justin Fuller's liking.
One driver who is continually moving forward, that is our highest running rookie of the year contender. That is the 6 of Joe Schaefer, as he is battling on the outside of Guillaume Fortin. Right now, Schaefer trying to make something happen. AJ Rogers in the 17 machine right behind him. Guillaume, though, looks like he is going to win this battle as he starts to nose in front and now does hold on to the position.
And coming into this race, Guillaume was sitting tied for 10th or cutoff point for the chase, and I'm sure he wants to get himself a good cushion of points built up over the rest of this season, the regular season. So caution is again going to fly.
The 42 of Brett Bartel's involved in this one. Go to our turn 3 instant replay and see what happened. It looks like the 42 of Bartel's and Brian Rogers making contact down the backstretch as Bartel's got loose in turns 1 and 2. We're gonna have to take another look at how that all started. Bartel's battling with the 72 of Andy Lambert. Lambert makes the pass on the front stretch, then the 42 down into the corner gets bumped by the 12 of Rogers. Straightens out but can't get off of the 12. And they continue hitting, and then the 68 of Ty Cole finishes off the 42, and Brian Rogers in the 12 also going around in that one as well. Take one more look on board with the 12 machine of Brian Rogers. This is going to be very interesting to see here as we look at the nose. That 42 was doing all he could to try and keep that car straight, and Rogers doing all he can to take advantage of a wounded 42, or a vulnerable 42, I should say.
Yeah, and I decided to take a look into the cockpit camera of Brett Bartel's and see, because I had a suspicion. I was wondering, was he struggling to get off of the 12, or was he trying to kind of give him a little bit of payback for kind of that incident? But I took a look in the cockpit camera, and yeah, that 42 had his hands full. He had his hands moving back and forth, trying to just keep that car straight. So that the bumping and banging down the back straightaway was not a part of malice from that 42 machine. That was purely just coincidence, as he was trying his best to not lose that race car.
Well, the Upstate Racing League using the super late model car for the first time in its existence, and I'll tell you, I have been thoroughly enjoying the power that is on display with this car. but I do have a feeling that that power was also part of the reason the 42 couldn't get straightened out. I believe every time he tried to power up, every time he thought he had it saved, he was spinning the tires a little bit more, just never really got the rear end underneath him, and the 12 of Rogers trying to take advantage of that, they just couldn't get away from each other.
And well, pace car's now gonna duck out of the way once more, and we're gonna get ready to go green once again. Lap 70 out of 125. Laps are ticking away, and here comes Justin McDuff with another fantastic jump. AJ Hamill again as well, getting a decent jump and able to hold on to that second place position, and that's really all you can hope for in that second place starting spot, is just trying to hold off the third place guy on that inside. Steph Marinak now trying to see if he can get around the 18 machine. Caution again flying.
I am not sure who the caution was for this time, so if you got any insight, let me know.
I'm taking a look and I'm not seeing any cars that are sideways there, so I don't know what brought that caution out.
All right, we'll start at the back of the field here and see what we see as we go on board with the 71 of Jeremy Watkins.
Oh, Mike Alexander. There it is, the 75 machine. Mike Alexander got turned around.
Take another look here from the nose of the 75. He was riding that high side, trying to make something happen down the backstretch. The 70 of Dylan Canova has, the 62 checked up. 75 got on the binders, and Dylan Canova, just accordion effect right there. Wrong place, wrong time for Canova.
Yeah, there was nothing Canova could do, because as soon as you saw that 16, it wasn't just that he checked up, the 62, I believe. He actually got loose and almost lost that car, and he was able to save it, but that checkup that it kind of caused, just unfortunately for that 75 of Mike Alexander, I mean, he had to get on the brakes, and Canova, with no chance to react, got into the back of him. Restarts though are going to come back to single file, as the admins are saying that these guys are getting a little bit too aggressive on these restarts, and we're going to see if a single file restart will clean this up a little.
So single file restarts on order. Our cautions for tonight already up to 6 for 30 laps. We have had only one lead change. Justin McDuff took the lead from Jimmy McIntyre and has not looked back. 67 laps led for McDuff, 7 laps for McIntyre. We see the 75 is going to take the EOL for this one. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I would have claimed that. I think that was just a racing incident, but it is so hard to really judge that sometimes when you are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and it's also a case of the admins are getting frustrated with the lack of claiming of the last couple cautions, so I'm sure he's just taking it to avoid any risk of getting a harsh penalty after the race. As we mentioned, it's only an EOL during the race. After the race, I believe it's possibly EOL at the EOL of the finish plus a lap. So I think you'd basically be scored as the highest placing finisher one lap down. So that is a very harsh penalty.
All right, so McDuff in the 20 machine.
He got a fantastic start, and he's going to hold off AJ Hamill. Hamill's going to have to deal with Steph Marinak all over his bumper, and now Hacker taking a look to the inside of Marinak, going to think better of it, back off, and almost get into the bumper of him through turns 3 and 4, though.
So Marinak moving into third place and looking for more. Brian Hacker into fourth. Justin Fuller not trending in a good direction here. We have seen that 51 struggle here at the Bullring tonight, trying to do everything he can. Just does not have the car underneath him, and again the yellow flag is going to fly, and again the one machine of Jeremy Carpenter pointed the wrong direction. Let's go to our turn 3 instant replay and figure out what happens to the 1 of Carpenter, the 42 of Brett Bartels behind him, along with the 12 of Brian Rogers. Bartels taking a peek to the inside. Contact made. And Carpenter with a good view at the field as they head towards him. Flagman saw it all.
Yeah, I think that's on the 1 of Carpenter. I mean, the 42 was down there. He had the line. Carpenter just kind of gave him no room and kind of cut down into him even off of the exit that corner. So I think that is going to possibly be claimed by the 1 machine, but he is coming down pit road either way. So another thing to think about is they have a kind of a, not only the caution claim system, but there is also a caution point. Caution points are cumulative, and you're allowed a max of 4. If you hit 4 caution points, you're parked for a week. If you hit 4 points in the middle of a race, you're DQ'd from that race. At the lap, you reach that 4 points. And for you to lose a caution point, you have to basically, I believe it's a completely clean race.
Wayne McDuff in the 413. Going to get one of his multiple laps back. Wayne had sat on pit road hammering out the damage that he received from earlier in the race as he slammed into the tire barrier. Wayne does find himself 21 laps down. Several drivers here tonight are rookies. Our highest running Brian Rogers Motorsports Rookie of the Year contender. That is the 6 of Joe Schaefer. The Upstate Racing League does hand out Rookie of the Year awards. These drivers do have some skin in the game. And the 6 right now leading all rookies. But Bill Martin, a rookie here, leading the championship. And we haven't talked a lot about Bill Martin out here tonight. I'm trying to find where he is at in the standings.
8th.
Ah, right behind Joe Schaefer. Now he's beside him. Good grief. How'd I miss that?
Well, pace car is down and away now, and hopefully these guys will be able to clear out the rest of these laps. Lap 85, 125. Justin McDuff going to get on the pedal and going to get another fantastic start. A good start from Hamill, still able to hold off the inside line, starting on the outside there. Look at the 11 though, Brian Hacker. He's putting a challenge onto the 2 of Steph Marinac. He's trying to work that outside line for the first time tonight.
The 11 of Hacker working that outside lane. Might have worked for him, but he spun the tires coming off of turn 4. That's going to cost him some time, and Marinac going to take full advantage of it. Here comes the 51 of Fuller as well. So one little mistake going to cost that Western Super Series 11 machine 2 spots.
And it's starting to look like Fuller has either cooled off gotten those tires to finally cool off, or kind of figured out this car, as that 51 is looking a lot more stable than it was a few laps ago. And now he may be able to start challenging these guys once again, as Steph Marinac still trying to get
Guillaume going around. Guillaume 410 has gone around in the 13 machine. We stay green as he was down below the racing surface, but the 13 has lost a ton of spots. He falls all the way to 24th, and now the yellow is going to come out. I'm not sure what the caution flag was for this time.
I think it might have been Brian Rogers. He also got spun around, but when the caution came out, he was already he was spun in turn 4, and when the caution came out, I think he was in turn 1 on the apron. So I don't know if that was the reason for the caution, but that's the only thing I could see at that time. Oh, it looks like the 8. Sorry, the 8 of John Ouellette with the 42 of Bartels.
So a lot of cautions happening here. The 12 going around.
That actually saved it though. That's the interesting thing. We had 2 cars spin, but because they went below the line, there was no caution. And then that time Ouellette was only sideways with the 42, and the caution flew.
Well, with 34 laps to go, we have had a caution heavy night here tonight, working caution number 8. This will be for 40 laps so far. Ryan Rogers in the 12 machine going to get the wave around and get back on the lead lap. Joe Schaefer, though, he doesn't mind it. Each time the caution comes out, he seems to move up a few spots. He is now in 6th place, but the 62 of Cody McCauley is right behind him. McCauley made a move on Bill Martin. Martin falling to 8th place now. So 4 rookies inside the top 10. AJ Rogers finding himself in 10th place. 11th will be Hugo Paquette, a rookie, as well as the 68 of Ty Cole.
And so that's kind of been one of the stories of this season, is the rookies coming in. Really, we call them rookies, but they're only just new to this league, as these guys have definitely been super late model drivers for a long time, and just kind of made the jump to this league when the league switched over to the different cars. So a lot of these guys do have experience in these cars and have been dominating, but tonight we've seen some of these long-time runners kind of showing up, with AJ Hamel and Justin McDuff kind of leading this field.
One person I always like to talk about, he likes to talk about himself a whole lot as well. That is the 96 of Al Smith. Right now he finds himself in 16th place. He's going to take us on board from this restart deep in the field. Green flag is out, and Al Smith, fueled by Verge in that 96 machine, now he's got to find a way to survive this hornet's nest that he is in the middle of. Brett Bartel's in the 42, makes a move on the inside of him. Jimmy McIntyre just in front of him. McIntyre, who started on pole, led for 7 laps.
Problems for the 18. He gets way out of, gets bumped, gets way out of shape, put almost up into the wall. As that time he wasn't able to get a good restart, was challenged by Steph Marinac, and then just kind of got a little tap, and that sent him way to the back of the field, as he just went from 2nd to 11th, and now he's going to get spun. He's going to get that car straightened out, though. The caution is not going to fly. Now it's probably going to fly, as we've got a car on its roof.
That is the 17 of AJ Rogers going up and over, and Rogers in big trouble here. Let's take another look at this one. We go high atop the blimp. Rogers in the 17 machine. You see the 18 of Hamill, who had a horrible restart. Things not going his way. Rogers in the 17 gets going, but 3 wide, as Jimmy McIntyre in the 81 was the 3rd car in that outside lane. Just enough to make contact with the 17 as he goes up and over.
So the announcement coming from the admins, they are going single file for the rest of the night. There will be no more double file restarts. There's been too many cautions, too many incidents, so they're hoping using single file restarts will kind of calm things down, as we're now going to be down to just 25 laps.
The votes are coming in from YouTube. The 17 of AJ Rogers, the new best accident of the night. I would have to agree. However, I'm not AJ Rogers, so I don't think he would agree with that vote.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta kind of say that when a car goes on its roof and rolls over, it usually is going to be the most interesting wreck of the night. But I still think the wreck that we had between AJ Childs and Wayne McDuff, when they ended up going into that tire wall just outside of turn 1 of that access road, pace cars going by right now, that was definitely an interesting accident. As I saw that tire wall and that access road during the practice session before this race, and I was thinking, that's kind of a silly spot to have an access road. Someone's gonna hit that. Of course, we did end up having an accident there.
All right, relatable story time. Story time with KR. My mini sprint that I run with here during the summer, 2 drivers got into an argument down the front stretch about who was going to run where. That argument continued into turns 1 and 2, down the backstretch, and in turns 3 and 4, they finally decided that's where they were going to crash. And while one driver was spinning, literally stuck his hand out, showed the other driver that he was number 1 while spinning. That was an awesome time, and I was one of the only people that saw it, and I laughed my butt off.
Well, pace car's now down and away. We're single file here for the rest of the night. Justin McDuff gets a great jump over top of Steph Marinac, but Marinac now no longer has anyone between him and the lead, and I think Marinac wants a race win. 2 seasons ago, he was one of the most dominant drivers. Last season, a bit of an off year for him. Now he wants to get himself back into victory circle as he's going to challenge Justin McDuff to the tail end of this race.
Marinac in the 2, into the 2nd, Hacker into 3rd. Cody McCauley now finding himself in 4th place. If you remember earlier in this race, that 62 dropped all the way back in the field as he got into a little bit of trouble, had to chase the car up the track. Now he has found a way to be inside the top 5, and that might be a car that someone at the lead might have to deal with here in a few laps, but the laps are winding off with 19, now make it 18 laps to go. Justin McDuff in the 20 machine continuing to lead, has led 400 laps so far tonight, and this car is on rails.
The battle for 2nd place now as Hackers move to the inside and now getting clear of Marinac. That came about because Marinac got loose in a couple of the corners there, just getting on the throttle too much. Saw that happen with the 51 of Fuller, and now Marinac's moving way back as he's going to get freight trained from that inside line, now down to 4th, maybe even down to 5th if that 51 of Fuller can get by him.
Fuller has that preferred line, but how long can Marinac hold on to it? Dylan Canova in the 70 getting to the back bumper of Fuller. So Marinac, he closes the door on Canova. Bold move by Marinac, but in the late stages of this race, you have to do something like that or face the consequence of being freight trained, and Marinac pulls it off, and that is going to cost Canova maybe a spot as well, as Joe Schaefer sticks his nose down to the inside, the 6 machine trying to make the pass on Canova.
And Canova's not only going to lose 1 spot, but may lose 2 as that 6 is going to get around him. Not quite clear yet, but at the same time, that 39 of Bill Martin, he's starting to get a nose in there, so I don't think Canova's going to have the space to drop to the bottom side, and no, he is not, as Schaefer now getting past Canova. Now Canova's got to deal with Martin.
Bill Martin in the 39 machine, battling with the 70 of Canova. And Canova, stuck in that outside lane, continues to lose ground. You see just how important it is to try and be on the inside here. That is your preferred line. That outside lane just never has worked out. The only time I've seen it work here tonight was on our very first restart, or I should say our very first start, when McDuff had an excellent run. Oh, as the 33 is going to make contact with Canova. Canova's going to go around. The 98 of Chris Stump finishes him off, and the yellow flag is going to fly here with 10 to go.
And Canova sent all the way to the infield. As don't quite know what happened there. We're going to have to take a look at the turn 3 instant replay as kind of they went into turn 1 and 2 there as the 33 and the 70 got into each other.
Hard racing between the 70 and the 33, and then Stump with nowhere to go just kind of sends the 70 on around, and Canova heads for his pit stall after that one.
And Paquette will claim the caution, so that's going to move him to the back of the field as these laps tick down. There won't be many left, and McDuff, I'm sure he's not wanting to see all these cautions come out. Each time a restart's happened, he's gotten into a great jump, opened up a lead very quickly, and then each time he gets that lead, it's just erased by these cautions that keep coming out.
This is our 10th caution of the night. Going to be 50 laps under yellow this time of 125. Wayne McDuff getting the wave around, going to get another lap back. However, he is 19 laps down still. But good grief, Wayne McDuff probably enjoying the fact that he's getting closer to being on the lead lap. But he's going to run out of laps before he can achieve that goal.
Yeah, there's not many laps to go. McDuff is going to have to get a fantastic start, and I'm sure Hacker's going to come out of this start absolutely roaring. Going to try to get to that inside of McDuff as soon as possible. The thing is, McDuff has the advantage of being leader. He can fire when he wants to once they get to the restart zone, so he has that bit of element of surprise. So Hacker just has to guess when that 20 goes. Because even if he's off the throttle just at maybe like a tenth of a second, that's going to allow McDuff to get a huge lead.
Well, while we're under yellow, let's do a little bit of thanking all our sponsors for tonight. But also make sure, guys, if you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. It lets the drivers know you enjoyed what they gave you tonight. Presentation is everything. These drivers are laying it all on the line. Short track racing at its best on display here as the 20 of McDuff looking at the final restart of the night. He has got to nail this one, but Brian Hacker and Cody McCauley going to try and take it away. But McDuff does what he needs to and gets an excellent jump.
Yeah, fantastic jump from that 20 machine, and now the 11 has got a lot of ground he has to make up. Just off of that restart, I think it was a couple tenths of a second was a gap between those two cars. That time at the line, yeah, 4 tenths of a second. So Hacker has got a long ways to climb as these laps are ticking down. We just got 3 to go.
3 laps to go as the 20 machine continues to lead. Now make it 2 as we are getting closer to wrapping this race up. Everyone getting single file here, knowing that they have got to lock down the positions they are in.
You can see just how hard that 11 is pushing it, as every time he comes out of the corner, the back end is stepping out as he's just getting on the throttle as soon as he can, but it's not gonna be enough. Justin McDuff with a huge lead, just has to get around turns 3 and 4 safely. Justin McDuff is going to win the No Bull 125 presented by Brian Rogers Motorsports.
And McDuff winning the race. Brian Hacker brings it home, and second and third place will go to the 62 of Cody McCauley. Guys, we are going to step away for a moment and set up our post-race show, brought to you by Austin Designs. No one go anywhere. We got to talk to 3 drivers. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Austin Designs post-race show fueled by Verge. And we have got all of our podium finishing drivers. We're going to kick it off tonight with our first place finisher. That is Justin McDuff. And McDuff, what a great run you had out here tonight at the Bullring. You led 118 laps. Bring it home with some celebratory donuts. Tell us a little bit about what it was like out there tonight from the lead.
Well, it was kind of hard with all the restarts. I can't really run a Q lap. I've never really been a hot lap guy, so I kind of got lucky there with the way the times played out. and then I started second, and I was able to get the one restart there. I think Jim went on green, and I was able to get a good run and clear him off of two. And then it was just trying to control the race from that point on and save my stuff because Seth was up there at one point. Hamill was there, and Fuller got up there. And then Hacker started to make a run at the end. So I was just trying to take care of my stuff. But it was kind of hard with all the restarts there and just trying to change up what I was doing in the restart zones, and so people couldn't really get a read on where I would go and keep control of the race.
Well, the 20 machine really did control this race. As I said, led for 118 laps, but a caution heavy night here tonight at the Bullring. You mentioned a tough time on all these restarts, but it looked like you had it all under control.
Yeah, well, I think part of the problem tonight too is the way the track is, where the field's piling into turns 3 and 4 on the restart. I mean, I'm restarting in the center of the corner. You got to be really careful to not get on it too hard. I'd step out sideways. So I can only imagine what it was probably like back in like the 6th or 7th row on the restart. So I think that had a lot to do with the way things played out. And like I said, I just tried to keep changing up what I was doing and not do the same thing over and over, so guys weren't able to get a jump on me and get a run.
Well, man, you win the race here tonight, so congratulations on that. Any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give?
As always, thank you to you guys. You guys do a great job, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks to Al. He does a great job with the league. Arts Barbershop, Cerebral Palsy Foundation, Rumar Vinyl Designs, and I have 2 new partners to thank, Excel Trip and Excel Pay. It's pretty cool to first race with them, associates on the car, to get them in victory lane. Thanks to my Empire Racing Team teammates. We almost had a 1-2-3 there, and it kind of fell apart at the end. Just thankful to bring it home.
All right, Justin, once again, congratulations on your race win here tonight.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Now it's time to move on to our second place finisher. That is Brian Hacker. And Kelly, this one's all you, buddy.
Well, Brian, you come home in second place. However, it was not an easy path for you, starting all the way back in 10th. What was it like driving through the traffic here on this in this race?
It was fun, but it was hairy. A lot of guys were stepping it out sideways, like Justin was alluding to, and it wasn't easy. I was trying to be patient. I was trying to save my stuff, and I think I was able to save my stuff a little bit better than some of those guys that were run up towards the top did at the end of the race there. I knew Cody was coming at the end too, and maybe with another 10 or 15 laps we might have had something for Justin, but with him being able to control the race from the front the whole time, I don't know if we would have been able to have what he had left.
Well, after this race, next week we'll be going to Martinsville, and we saw a lot of bumping and banging, a lot of cautions here tonight, and I don't believe Martinsville will be much better. So what's going to be your kind of focus going towards that track?
Yeah, I'm gonna do like I did tonight and try to stay out of trouble first and foremost. Stay out of trouble, try to save my stuff, and be there at the end. I think that's the key to these races, and I think Prime Minister Al Smith is gonna have a lot to say. I know he wasn't too happy with the way things were being run today, but speaking of Al, I think I saw some stuff in the pockets of Justin mixed up, so hopefully he brings out his magic wand to wand him down.
All right, well, hopefully we get to see that, but looking towards the standings here, you're kind of on the outside looking in coming into this race. However, with a good second place finish, that will jump you up into the top 10. So what's kind of your focus for the rest of the season in terms of trying to make it to the chase?
Yeah, Milwaukee, I had some technical issues and ended up finishing that race last, and you can ask the guys on the team. I was pretty bummed out and didn't really think I had a shot to get back up into the chase as quickly as I think we might. So hopefully this will put us into the chase, and then from here it's trying to move our way up and secure a solid spot in the chase and be there at the end. That's what it's all about.
All right, well, Brian, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us. However, before we let you go, who do you wish to thank for your run here tonight?
Yeah, so if you take a look at the car that I'm running, it's Western Super Series. I help admin that, the race director over there. We run on Tuesday nights. We kind of work in association with Al here in URL and a couple other leagues, and it's a fixed super late model gig just like this is. It's more geared for the West Coast guys, even though I'm in Chicago. The founder of the league is out on the West Coast, so give them a shot. Check them out. There's going to be some big announcements coming pretty soon from Western Super Series. Also on the cars, Narrative Coffee, on pitroad.com, Paycent. Paycent's a big sponsor of ours, so thanks for them for being on board. And then, of course, McIntyre Racing Inc.
Well, thanks, Brian, for coming out and talking to us. I mean, I'm West Coast. I'd check out the league. However, I suck at short track, so I'm going to stay where I am in the booth here. But good luck to you guys, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.
Hopefully. Thanks a lot.
That's Brian Hacker, driver of the number 11 and our second place finisher here tonight. But now we're going to move on to our third place finisher, and KR, I think you're going to catch up with him.
I do have Cody McCauley in the 62, bringing it home third place. Cody, congratulations on that third place finish, but it was not without its difficulties here tonight, as at one point you were way deep in the field, but you find a way to finish on the podium. Tell us what you had to do to make that happen.
Yeah. Oh, after that one, we need this.
Amen.
Yeah, I tell you that tonight was a rough night. This is a rough track. I think we started 28 cars. Of those 28 cars, I'd say probably 17 to 18 cars could have won this race tonight. But it makes it tough, you know. I didn't see the invert coming. It's on me for not paying close attention to the rules. And it really set us back. Thought we were gonna be sitting pretty good there with a lot of fast guys in front of us. We'd be able to race it out. And I mean, it's just tonight. It was what it was. It's a tough race. I hate that I got into the 98 there. I know I got in the back of him. Nothing towards him because it's just me. Short track racing. It's gonna happen. I'm people tagged my bumper all night long. That's part of it. But you know, shout out to Brian Hacker on a second place finish. Dude ran a hell of a race, and even bigger than that, Justin with the win. Man, Justin's an awesome race car driver, and he's probably got a lot more wins coming his way. That kid can will one. So good to see those guys run up front. Interested to see what next week is like. Martinsville's racetrack's kind of like this, but at the same time, you know, there's a bit of a second lane. I think that's what killed us tonight. Was just you couldn't move anywhere on the racetrack besides the bottom, and it kind of left everybody bottlenosed. I know Al and the rest of the URL office crew are going to be very, very busy watching this one. So, but I mean, overall, it was a fun night. Yeah, I'm anxious to get out and see how many fenders are left on this freaking car. But you know, it's short track racing. What's she gonna do?
Well, the Bullring lived up to its name here tonight, and I gotta say, despite how you had to work through the field, we're taking some close-up shots of your car. It's looking pretty straight. You might give your body shop guys the night off.
I don't know about that. We got to keep Papa Austin working. Papa Austin's Scott Austin's dad. He comes out every week. He beats the fenders out, makes sure the car looks half decent. Rattle can spray paints it back black, and we head to the racetrack. So shout out to him. He put a hell of a piece together tonight. You know, if the fenders are still on it, I guess he's doing okay. We'll keep him around.
Well, I gotta say, it is a very unique paint scheme that you have. Everything is in black and white, a little bit of shades of gray there. Even all your associate sponsors. That's a pretty cool paint scheme, and it looked good working its way through the field tonight. But your engine crew looks like they're gonna have their hands full.
Yeah, sitting here trying to talk to you guys. Motor blew up, so tell Al not to hurt me too bad on that caution. We need some money to get a new motor in this rascal. My goodness.
Well, hey, good news is all the cheating you did in the engine's gonna be hard to find when it's blowed up.
I tell you what, come on, Ricky Brooks, see if you can find this one illegal. We ain't got no titanium.
Oh, all right, Cody. Well, congratulations on the third place finish, man. Nice job working your way back up through the field. Any other shout out sponsors you need to mention?
Oh, just the usual, man. Tim Pruitt, PruittTeam.com. They do an awesome job. What they do, can't thank them enough. Scott Austin with Scott Austin's Designs. If you guys need a paint scheme, I'm telling you, my car is all black because I want it this way. He can do some really cool stuff. You guys got to check him out. I got to give a special shout out to Al, all the guys that make this happen. You guys for the broadcast. It's awesome to be able to come out every week and get to do this.
All right, Cody. Congratulations on third place finish here tonight. We look forward to seeing you at Martinsville.
Thank you, bud.
Cody McCauley stepping in third place, the final spot on the podium. Nice little recovery from him here tonight, Kelly. But this race here tonight, Kelly, was one for the books, maybe. Maybe one that the drivers don't wish to see anytime soon, as we did have a caution-heavy night. But I do feel a lot of it was a product of being at the Bullring in a high horsepower car.
Yeah, I think it just was kind of just a product of the track. As we saw, there was really only one fast line around here, and that was that bottom line. And when everyone's trying to fight for one line, you're going to get cautions. And I think we're going to see that again next week at Martinsville. There's no banking there. There is no possibility of a second line showing up on the high line. At Martinsville, it's a drag race, but connected by two corners. So it's just going to be whoever can get a good launch out of the corner and try to throw it up the inside. And I think it's going to create possibly another messy race next week. But I'm sure the admins are going to have a lot of things to say to the drivers after this race. As mentioned, Al's definitely not happy with how this race turned out. So hopefully, after a bit of a talking to, these guys come out next week and are a bit calmer.
Nothing left but to go through our race results here tonight. Justin McDuff, your race winner. Brian Hacker finishing in second, third place, and final step on the podium. That is the 62 of Cody McCauley. Fourth, going to Justin Fuller. Fifth will be Steph Marinac in the 2 machine.
Joe Schaefer is going to come home in sixth. Bill Martin will finish in seventh. Scott Austin finishes in eighth. Ninth goes to the 98 of Chris Stump, and Matthew Barkhouse rounds out the top 10.
11th place goes to Brett Bartels. John Roulette in 12th. 13th will be Al Smith Jr. 14th, Guillaume Fortin, and Ty Cole in the 68, finishing 15th.
16th, we see the 75 of Mike Alexander. Ron Piles comes home in 17th. 18th goes to Andy Lambert. Wow, that was way off. Brian Rogers is going to come home in 19th, and Jimmy McIntyre starting on the pole, but not having a good race, winds up in 20th.
21st going to Jeremy Watkins. 22nd, Hugo Paquette. Dylan Canova in the 70, finishing 23rd. 24th going to Wayne McDuff, with 25th being AJ Hamill.
AJ Rogers finishes 26th, Jeremy Carpenter 27th, AJ Childs 28th, and Brian Jones rounds out the 29 car field.
That is going to wrap it up for us here at Turn 3 Racing Network. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, Kelly. Thank you so much, everyone in YouTube chat. Always enjoy reading that and reacting to all the great commentary coming from the chat room. Man, it's a good time. And Kelly, before we let you go, any other thing you'd like to add to tonight?
I'll definitely have to add on that I hope to see everyone out here again next week, because these guys, as I mentioned, always put on a great show, and definitely love supporting the Upstate Racing League.
All right. Well, Kelly, we enjoy having you out here. Thank you so much, guys. And we hope to see you all at Martinsville for the next race. And until then, be safe. Have a good time. Come right back here to Turn 3 Racing Network.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.